Good evening, neighbors, community and religious leaders, to my team, to elected leaders, and to our special guests. I am honored to stand here before you today to deliver the State of our District address. Together, we've overcome obstacles and achieved remarkable progress in our community. Our unity has made us powerful, and our shared vision has strengthened our district. Tonight, I will highlight our achievements in 2023 and outline our path to a vibrant future. As your state assembly member, I recognize that there is a responsibility of government to serve its people, understanding that historically it has not worked for the working class. It has worked for the very wealthy and the powerful, but not the working mother who makes just that dollar over and is trying to put her kids through school, or the father who works really hard just to put a few pieces of food on the table for his family. There is no doubt that we have challenges facing our community, but I know personally that the words of Frederick Douglass, where he said, "If there is no struggle, then there is no progress," still ring true today. And as your elected leader here in Albany, I can attest that these stories can and have reverberated change into the halls of Albany. Neighbors, whether you call Far Rockaway, Rosedale, Springfield Gardens, or South Ozone Park home, there has been no doubt significant advancements in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and economic development. And through various initiatives and programs, we have worked tirelessly to uplift our neighbors and improve the quality of life for all residents. I'm really excited that my office has worked tirelessly towards that end. My office has been dedicated to serving our constituents, and I'm proud to report tonight that we have successfully assisted in over 23 individual cases, helping individuals access vital services, resolving issues, and advocating for their specific needs. Whether it's housing assistance or employment opportunities, whether it's health care or resources for educational support, we have been steadfast in our commitment to ensuring that no one in our community is left behind. I also understand that the hands-off approach to governing is old and is dead, and that a governing effort that leads with compassion, with co-governance, with empathy, and with hope now breathes a new life throughout the 31st Assembly District. The late, great Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm once said that service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on this earth. How might we build up our community to be self-sufficient and united by the issues, enlightened civically and politically? The Congresswoman made that quote, and we worked tirelessly to answer the call of service each and every day through the work of our office. So let's get into some of the details of the things that we've accomplished in the last year. First, we've secured $5.5 million in direct aid for programs and services across the district over the last 3 years. One of the projects that I'm most proud and honored to announce tonight, that of that $5.5 million we secured, last year alone we secured $2.5 million in direct state aid to help develop a fully affordable homeownership project set to break ground in the near future. This project, located in Bayswater, will give an opportunity to residents of our community to realize the dream that has often, unfortunately, been a nightmare for so many that could not achieve it, and that's homeownership. I've allocated over $300,000 in capital aid to several schools across the district to ensure that they have the adequate technology resources to compete with our global students. And I'm hard at work working to secure a software sponsorship, a software partnership with Google, so that our students have the most advanced and state-of-the-art technology, aiding them in their academics across all grade levels. Here's some of the programs that we did last year. We organized and co-hosted several job fairs, information and career development resource fairs that targeted our stubbornly high unemployment rate and underemployment rate. I'm grateful and proud to announce that several individuals were hired because of these efforts. We've also partnered with St. John's Episcopal Hospital, the Weight Loss Transformation Center, Battalion Pentecostal Assembly, and others to conduct health screenings, innovative programs like our Wise Walking Warriors, which is run by the incomparable Elizabeth Madison, which is entering actually its third year, and adding more and more to its already dynamic programming all across our district. Our offices have become an annual host for free tax preparation services with our partnerships with Urban Upbound, as well as our free legal services in partnership with NILAG, the New York Legal Assistance Group, and the Home Energy Assistance Program, which we host in our office every Friday. And in total, those three programs served nearly 1,000 constituents combined. And that's real progress. And that's real access to government. And that's adopting a model that doesn't leave anyone behind. Last year, we also made significant progress on our fight to end the theft that is SNAP skimming, the cruel and organized crime that left hundreds of families hungry without food stamps during the holiday season. And while we fought to secure a record-breaking $2 million for reimbursement funds in prior state budgets, we know for a fact that more must be done to protect these families, and will continue to advocate on the state and federal levels to this end. Now let's talk about housing. We need homes for our neighbors. We are facing a historic housing crisis. And actually, according to my end of the year report, which we published last month, 40% of the constituent needs have surrounded the issue of housing. Whether it was a foreclosure or an eviction, the trauma in our community at this moment cannot go unrecognized. In the past year, our office has spearheaded efforts to support our residents facing housing insecurity, embodying our commitment to community welfare, overcoming hurdles, and standing as a beacon of hope. We help to beat a broken system and help connect residents with housing vouchers. And this is dynamic, what I'm getting ready to share with you guys. And I'm really excited that this work does not stop. Now, our effort directly, as it relates to housing vouchers, impacted well over a dozen families who were facing the threats of homelessness and houselessness. We were able to connect them with housing vouchers. And we're going to still continue to fight in Albany to make this aid permanent. And right now, we are aggressively collaborating with local organizations in helping to facilitate aid for residents affected by floods, house fires, and ensuring they receive the essential furniture and critical repairs to their homes. Moreover, my relentless advocacy with our partners at the Legal Aid Society in the fight on the hyper-local level against HRA's City FEP program debacles has culminated in a landmark legal victory, protecting rights and dignity of our constituents. We fought hard to ensure accountability for some of our worst landlords in the district, who were recognized for their cold efforts to silence the voices of tenants who begged for basic living conditions to be met with empathy. These accomplishments exemplify our dedication to serving the needs of every single individual who comes to our office to ask for support, whether you're a public housing resident or a resident living in a privately owned building. We want to make sure that we leave an indelible mark of progress, leading with compassion, but also connecting you, empowering through a system that has long been broken and has left many left behind and forgotten about. We will change these moments. In June of 2023, as we continue to lead and share some of our progress, we hosted a critical town hall meeting at Arverne View. At this town hall, residents were informed about their rights as living conditions continued to persist in a negative way, whether it's heat and hot water, mold, or vermin. We understand that housing is a basic human right. And we were proud to share with these tenants steps that they can take should they want to pursue legal action. And I'm proud to announce today that we will continue to go after landlords who break the law, including Assembly District 31's largest and most powerful landlords who continue to leave our residents in the cold and in the dark. There will be more details on that to come. Homeowners, they are the backbone of our communities. They provide housing for thousands of families and often suffer in silence. I submit to you that I see you and I hear you. And unfortunately, Springfield Gardens stubbornly remains the foreclosure capital of Queens County. We know that this battle against deed thefts, predatory lending by bad actors is a challenge that requires all to join in the effort. That's why on November 16th, my office hosted a Health and Human Services workshop in Springfield Gardens. And at this event, which was a huge success, we had many constituents able to walk away with same-day help, with either assistance heating their homes, securing food and groceries, and accessing critical programs that help with mortgage and foreclosure prevention services, and accessing mortgage and foreclosure prevention services and paying their bills. We know that this is a drop in the bucket for a problem that is older than me. But guess what? We will never give up on this fight. As we continue to champion legislation in Albany and initiatives within our community, we affirm our unwavering commitment to tangible, life-changing results. Together we stand united and resilient in our pursuit of a brighter future for all. Now let's talk about the migrant crisis. I know this is on the minds of many New Yorkers, many of our residents across the 31st Assembly District. We know that our community is responding just as we know how, with the compassion and the understanding, with love and empathy, whether it's leaders in South Ozone Park hosting clothing drives, or our houses of worship in Far Rockaway cooking Thanksgiving meals for hungry families, for new arrivals. We will always be a community that is neighborly. I also understand and I hear the cries of our neighbors who are concerned about safety and a potential strain on already limited resources. The crumbs that we barely get now have to be shared and expanded further, whether it's housing or healthcare. This crisis prompts solidarity and tension. It urges comprehensive solutions and integrative policies. We want to address the crisis and quality of life concerns at the root and not by the symptoms. That's why my office has partnered with New York State Senator James Sanders Jr. and the founder of this incredible task force, our Majority Leader, Sylvina Brooks Powers, to ensure that we constituted a migrant task force. And that task force will be focused on making sure we meet the needs of this moment and we respond to the calls of prioritizing quality of life for our neighbors. I'm also proud to announce that my office will restart its efforts to establish an Office of New Americans Opportunity Center. This is in partnership with the New York State Department of State, and these centers offer vital citizen support, language classes, work authorization support, and so much more. And I believe that this is a long-term solution to centralize its local response, our local response to the migrant crisis that we're faced with across our communities. We can come and welcome our neighbors together. We can prioritize safety. We can look at ways of ensuring our community has resources to make it all happen. These are the balances that we're fighting for here in Albany, and I know that we can achieve it if we work together. Let's talk about community safety and gun violence. Now, our district has seen historic lows in crime. However, people still don't feel safe, and that's a real thing. And so it is my duty and responsibility to make sure that as your state legislator, we are responding directly to those needs. That's why I'm fighting hard here in Albany to ensure that we invest in cure violence programs, that we support mental health workers, so that we address these issues at the root. Specifically in the legislative arena, we are championing initiatives to address pressing issues facing our neighbors. And so as we work through the issues of affordable housing, as we work through the issues of community safety, as we work through the issues of environmental justice, we know that those fights cannot be fought alone, and that last year, specifically, we fought tirelessly to enact policies that reflect the needs and the priorities of our constituents. We did this through collaborations, through advocacy, and we made significant strides in advancing equity, justice, and opportunity for all. That's why last year we introduced several bills. Some were passed into law, and unfortunately, some were vetoed by the governor. We hosted several hearings on banking and more. And this is just some of the few things that we did on our legislative agenda. That's why this year we're going to continue to double down on our focus around the issue of crime and safety by introducing the New York SAVE Act. The SAVE Act, School Anti-Violence Education Act, this is a bill that will create a grant-making initiative for gun violence and conflict mediation programs to receive funding to do this critical work in our schools, meeting the students where they are. And as the chair of the subcommittee on banks in underserved community, I know that banking and financial literacy is also important. That's why last year we introduced legislation to ensure that we incentivize banks to come to banking desert communities. Because as we have seen, the massive exodus of banks from zip codes 11692 and 11422, we know the harms and inconveniences this causes families to their funds and accessing those funds and resources. And that's why, again, this year, we will work with State Senator Sanders and all of our partners in the banking space to strengthen our laws to ensure that they work for all New Yorkers and all residents of the 31st Assembly District. Let's talk about the environment. I'm proud to be sponsoring legislation this year that aims to expand the eligibility for retrofitting and resilient loan grant programs here in New York. This will help establish a fund to provide low and no interest loans and grants to ensure that the hazards that impact communities that are susceptible to flooding, that are susceptible to repairs that need to be made because of the private sewer networks that dominate our Southeast Queens community. I think of Miss Pauline Boswell from Springfield Gardens, who I visited after that terrible storm earlier this year. That we need to ensure that families like hers in Springfield Gardens or families like those who live in Arverne have access to grants and loans to help repair their homes after a natural disaster attacks them. Let's talk transportation. I'm proud to announce again this year we've introduced a package of commuter van legislation that looks at addressing the urgent need to revitalize this ailing industry. It's important that we pass our two pieces of legislation in this comprehensive package, and I will be fighting to do so this year. Now, we know the governor vetoed the bill, and we're going to continue to work with the executive to ensure that we revitalize this critical industry. Let's talk about healthcare. I'm really grateful that as we serve so many New Yorkers in the health space, that we are fighting to make sure that we access the safety standards and safe staffing for all. I'm really, really grateful that as we continue to fight, we'll be able to do so in a way that supports our neighbors. Let's talk about the next topic today, where we look at higher education. I'm proud to announce that this legislative session, our bill to ensure that students can have access to tuition assistance program made the One House budget bill. This ensures that students who need that extra year of support, can now go to college and not have to worry about saddling themselves in debt and have that resource. Let's continue to fight for working class people. As we continue to lay out our legislative agenda for 2024, I'm proud to announce that we've introduced the HOPE Act, the Home Overdose Prevention and Education Act. I'm honored that we should spotlight this bill because it will continue to ensure that residents across the state and across our nation and across our communities have a vital step in ongoing efforts to combat the opioid crisis. We want to ensure that no more victims of overdose go unheard and unrecognized, that we empower individuals, and we seek to support families by providing access to life-saving naloxone kits and overdose prevention education in residential settings. Throughout the HOPE Act, we're not just addressing the immediate dangers posed by opioid misuse, but also fostering a culture of support and resilience within our communities. Now, the biggest announcement that I'm going to make tonight surrounds around our platform for this year. We need an aggressive, ambitious, almost Marshall-like plan to ensure that we save and protect our future. That's why tonight I'm proud to announce the Young People's Agenda, a policy plan to protect and grow our future. And as we look ahead to that future, our vision for the 31st Assembly District is one of continued progress, prosperity, and inclusivity. In 2024 and beyond, we will continue to prioritize the needs of our constituents and work collaboratively to address the challenges facing our community. We will focus on expanding access to affordable health care, expanding access to affordable housing, and improving those outcomes. We want to make sure that we enhance educational opportunities and promote economic development. Those are the 4 pillars that we will be focused on in this Young People's Agenda. The next thing we want to focus on in our Young People's Agenda is youth unemployment, which is stubbornly high. We need innovative ideas and vision. That's why this year I'm proposing that we create a funding mechanism for our unions to apply for grants to run 6 to 12-week pre-apprenticeship programs in areas where they are struggling with union membership. This helps build their ranks, it teaches our young people skills, and it equips them with certifications that they need to get out into the workforce. We need bold things for our young people in order to protect our future. Our next proposal this year as a part of the Young People's Agenda is to make sure that we prioritize universal after school for all. That means that every single resident of the 31st Assembly District would have access to free after school programs and not have to worry about paying that bill each month of after school, without have to worry and dig into their pockets for extra resources for their children, for our students. That's why next month we're going to be hitting the road, and we're going to engage with providers, with parents and students across the district to see how we can make this happen, how we can make free after-school programs a reality for every New York student. This initiative aims to bridge the gaps in access to enrichment activities, to tutoring, to mentorship, but most importantly, keeping our students, our children, off the streets and in the classroom, off the streets and in structured activities. We want to make sure that we're collaborating with stakeholders and listening to the needs of our community. We are committed to creating a safe and supportive, inclusive environment for all students to learn, to grow, and to succeed. I hope that you guys can join us as we embark on this journey to unlock the full potential of our young people and build a brighter future together. Next, we have a bold vision to reimagine our public transportation in our communities. Right now, we're in the middle of the MTA Queens bus redesign, and my office is actively advocating for improved bus service because we know many students use our buses and rely on bus service, whether you're a CUNY student traveling to York College or whether you're a student at MSPS 42 in Arverne. We know that bus service and improved bus service will impact you. That's why we're pushing for an extension of the Q52 limited bus service to Wavecrest. We think that providing seamless access to Queens Center Mall and the mainland of Western Queens for over 30,000 residents is the right way forward. We also believe that championing the extension of Q52 and Q22 bus service is a part of that effort. That's why I'm proud to announce that we are going to be advocating for bus service that connects the Q22 to Five Town Shopping Center and the LIRR. That is going to be our advocacy effort this year, and we want the community to join us in that effort. Lastly, the Rockaways is the only part of the 31st Assembly District that does not have a one-seat ride to the airport. That's why we're advocating for Q22 rush service to enhance the commute of the working class security guard or the working class hospitality worker that is trying to get to their 7 o'clock in the morning shift or their 11 p.m. graveyard shift to get to the airport. And we're going to continue to fight to ensure that we have smoother commutes for the thousands of residents that are trying to get to the airport or get to other parts of Queens. That's our agenda this year. And in closing, I want to again express my deepest gratitude to the residents of the 31st Assembly District. I know these agenda items are bold, and I know that government has not worked for you, and I know that government has not been responsive. But with your continued and unwavering support and partnership, we can leave the government of old in the past and rise up a new government for the future, a government that responds to the needs, is compassionate, and understands that the remarkable progress that we have achieved is something that we can build on, and it's something that we can believe in. And I'm confident that by continuing to work together, we will build a brighter, and I mean this, a brighter and more prosperous future for us all. Thank you to the 31st Assembly District. God bless you all.